Outcomes of Democracy, Lesson 7. Today I am going to discuss on this topic Outcomes of Democracy, which is your Lesson 7 of Democratic Politics. Now, what exactly is outcomes of democracy? Outcomes means the result. So, when a democracy is established in a country, then what results it a country gets, what uh, results it achieves is known as outcomes of democracy. So here result means that after installing democracy, after establishing democracy in a country, and after a country becomes a democratic country, then what happens, what is the result of it, and what is the effect of democracy on the people living in that particular country is known as outcomes of democracy, or you can say the effects of democracy after it has been established in a country. So first of all, you know that what is a democracy. First of all, you should keep that in your mind. So democracy means the rule of the people, where the people are supreme and they have the full right to participate in the decision making process. That is, ultimately their consent is required for making a law of the country. So where the people participate in decision making process. Fine. So now in a democratic country, for this purpose elections are held, because now the people cannot be called, because most of the country the population is very large and they all cannot assemble in one place to make a decision for a country or to make a policy for a country. And for this purpose indirect democracy is imposed in all the countries of the world, in which the elections are mandatory, it is made as compulsory, and they are held after a regular period of time, where the people they have got the political rights to vote and to contest the elections, and the people elect their representatives, and these representatives then make policies or take decisions on behalf of the government. So this is known as democracy, where the people are the supreme and their consent is required for framing the law or the policies of that particular country. Now, what is the effect of the democracy? So, after the democracy is established, then there are some effects of it. First of all, in democracy, the political rights and the social rights are ensured. What are political rights and how they are ensured, and what is a political equality? So, in a democratic country, all the adult citizens who have attained a criteria of the age, they have got the right to vote. Means irrespective of caste, creed, religion or gender, all the adult citizens of that particular country, they have the right to vote and also to participate in elections and form the government. Second thing, they also have the right uh, to maintain their equal status in the society. That is, no discrimination is done on the basis of religion, caste or gender. They all are considered as equal. And third is, in a democratic country, judiciary is altogether independent, and the people have the right to approach the court, either the high court or the supreme court, in case if any injustice is done to them, then in a democratic country the constitution gives them the fundamental rights, and through these rights they can maintain their dignity as well as their life in that country. And in case if any person, if any authority, even if the government tries to take away their right or tries to violate or do infringement with their rights, they can sue that authority, or even the government can be sued by that individual whose rights has been violated in the high court or in the supreme court of that country. So in this way I can say that democracy is the best form of government, because the people living in a democratic country, they have got the political rights, political equality is maintained, they have got the social rights, social equality is maintained, and they have the rights, equal rights before the law. No, in the eyes of law, no one is treated as means no, everyone is equal before the law, no one is high or no one is low. Okay, but democracy does not ensure economic equality. So how democracy does not ensure economic equality is that in a democratic country, all the resources of that particular country is not equally distributed among the people of that country. Okay, few are very rich, they are rich industrialists, they are rich landowners, and they are capitalists, and they own maximum resources or the wealth of that country, whereas the majority of the population, they live below the poverty line, they do not have any access to resources of that country, they are not in possession of the wealth, and they work as poor labor class in the factories owned by the rich class people. So in this way there is no equal distribution of wealth in a democratic country, whereas in a communist country equality is maintained. What type of equality? Economic equality, because in a communist country the resources and the wealth of the country is equally distributed among the citizens of that country. How? Because all the property, land, assets of that country are under the ownership of the government, and the people living in that country, they have to work in the resources which are owned by the government. In this way no one is rich and no one is poor, and equality is maintained among the people of that country. So that is not with the case of a democratic country where the wealth is concentrated only with few persons, where are the majority of the population, they do not have any wealth or the access to the resources. So now I will read few things through my notes and through my, which is there in my Padlet. We begin by thinking about how to access the outcomes of democracy. After some clarity on how to think on this subject, we proceed to look at the expected and actual outcomes of democracy in various respects. Our final verdict positive but qualified. How do we access democracy outcomes? Democracy is a better form of government when compared with dictatorship or any other alternative. Why? Why democracy is considered as a better form of government? Because first of all, in a democracy, The people are the supreme, not any person, not any particular. The power is concentrated with the people, and in an indirect democracy, the power is concentrated with the elected representatives of the people who form the government and who makes the law for the people, on behalf of the people and by the people. So in this way, the whatever the laws are made, they are made with the consent of the people, and no one can become dictator or do anything against the wishes of the people. And if any government, even the government, tries to do so, then that government, the people have the right even to oust that government. Oust means they can they can even that government is rejected by the people, and that government then has to be removed, and then the elections are again held. Sometimes even midterm elections are held, and for this purpose, if the government is not working according to the wishes of the people, and then a new government is elected, which always do for keeping the wishes of the people, means it has to work. Even if the government does not want to, then also the government has to work in favor of the people, for all the people living in a country. It cannot discriminate the people, it cannot favor any particular community. It has to keep the it has to work according to the wishes of the people living in a country. Then only that particular government can means stay for longer duration of time. Otherwise, if it does not work according to the wishes of the people, then it can either be removed in the next election, or even it can be rejected in that particular period of time, and then that government has to dissolve and the next elections are declared. So even though the government wants or it does not want, but still it has to work according to the wishes of the people, so that it can form a stable government, it can work for a longer duration of time. Now, it promotes equality among citizens, that I have already told you. Political and social equality is maintained, okay. And then it enhances the dignity of the individual. How it enhances the dignity of the individual? By giving it all the citizens the fundamental rights that are all there, that are enshrined in the constitution, and no one, not even the government, is entitled to take away the rights of the citizen or violate the rights of the citizen. And if it does so, then that particular government can also be sued in the High Court or in the Supreme Court, and that is a special right which is given, and that is a right to remedy in the Constitution of India. So in this way, all the citizens living in a democratic country, they have the right to maintain their dignity as well as their life. Then it also helps in the decision making process, because whatever law have to be made, they have to be discussed in the parliament with the elected representatives, and in this way whatever decisions are made, they are the best and they are according to the wishes of the people. Then allows the room to correct mistakes. So if any wrong decision has been taken hurriedly, then the people have the right, the government has the right, can also correct its mistake, means through the amendment in the law, and or it can even the law can be changed. In this way the mistakes can be corrected, okay. Now we have a dilemma. Democracy seemed to be good in principle, but felt to be not so good in practices. So why it is so? Why we are in a confusion? Means most of the people are in the confused state that okay, whatever principles are laid down for running the democratic countries are very good in hearing, but in practice it is not so, because whatever principles have been laid down, they are not actually implied, they are not actually executed in a proper manner, and so all the citizens living in that country, they do not get the maximum benefit of that. So how to do that so that all the people get the maximum benefit? So what is the reason behind it? Our interest is not our interest in and fascination for democracy often push us into taking a position that democracy can address all socio-economic and political problems. See, if some good if some principles are laid down in a democracy for the benefit of the people, we the citizens living in that country, they want to take more advantage of it, and we also expect more from it. Okay, so if one is doing anything which is the good for us, then we start expecting more from it. And so how can we but democracy cannot fulfill everyone's demands. Okay, it will only work according to the principles that are laid down, and it cannot do more. So more expectation is only our fault, it is not the fault of a democracy. So, because it only works according to the principles, it cannot do more than that. So when the people start expecting more out of it, then they feel and if that expectations are not fulfilled, and then they feel bad, and then they start blaming the democracy for their situation. Okay, so this should not be. We cannot expect more on what we are getting. We should be contented with it. Then accountable, responsive and legitimate government. So democracy is very accountable, it is a responsive and it is a legitimate government. So how it is accountable? Because democracy is whatever in a democratic government, in a democratic country, whatever the government does, it is accountable for that. Means it is ultimate, that particular government is responsible for its action, for any law it has made. Okay, so if the law are good, and if the people they think that whatever laws have been made, whatever policies have been executed by the government is for their benefit, then it's good. But if the laws or any policy goes against the interest, or the people have to suffer for it, then that only particular government is liable for that, and for this purpose even the no confidence motion can be passed against that government, and that government has to resign, and the cabinet is said to be dissolved. Okay, so for every action the elected government makes, it is only for the people, it cannot see its own self-interest, and if the action goes against the people, then that particular government is liable for it, and even can suffer the means the like dissolution of the and all that. So it is accountable. So whatever the policies it makes only for the benefit of the people, not for its own interest. Then second is that democracy is responsive means it listens to the expectations of the people and it tries to fulfill. Means responsive means it shows that it is having concern for the people. Okay, so it has to show its concern for the people, and in this way it is a responsive government. Means it tries to sort out, it tries to solve the problems of the people. Then what it is saying, legitimate means that this government is a valid government. It works according to the law that is written in the constitution. So in a democratic country, the constitution is the supreme law of the country, and in a democracy the power is shared among the organs of the government, and no so that no one can become autocratic, and even the government is abided by the law of the country, so it is a legitimate government. Now democracy also helps in maintaining transparency. How it helps in maintaining transparency? That whatever the functioning of the government is there, or whatever the policies that particular government makes for its own people, it has to tell it to its own people through media that these policies have been made, and this is the functioning of the government, and the government is working according to the law. It is not doing anything which is not good, which is malefic. Okay, so in this way transparency is maintained, and even a common people can go to the government office to seek the information, and he can be given that information, and this is also made as a law in 2005, which is known as right to information. So the democracy does not hide, a democratic government does not hide anything from its people, because a democratic government is a government of the people. Okay, and so whatever it does only for its people, so there is nothing to hide, and it is the most transparent form of government. Okay, so now economic growth and development. So I have told you that the democracy maintains political and social equality, but it does not maintain economic equality. Why? Because in a democratic country, the wealth of the country is not shared by all the people in an equal manner. Okay, few and everyone is free and has the right to property. So those who are having money, they can buy the land, they can buy the property, and they can become rich, they can invest, and they can establish industries. But those who are poor and those who are not having that much of money, they cannot buy the property for themselves, and still they live in a poor condition. So there is a big disparity or a gap between the rich and the poor. Those who are the rich, they exploit the poor people in a democratic country, unlike of the communist country where the equal distribution of wealth is maintained, because the government has the whole is in possession of all the property of that country. Fine. So in this way, still majority of the people living in a democratic country, they are poor. But it tries to raise the socio-economic standards of the people. So how it tries to raise the socio-economic standards of the people? By giving them some reservations, so that these people who belong to the deprived classes, they can raise their standard, and they can get government jobs, and thus they can also come maintain some economic equality, and they can come up to the mainstream. So in this way it tries to improve their economic condition also. Okay. Okay, and it also accommodates the social diversity. So how it maintains the social diversity, how it accommodates that in a democratic country no discrimination is done, everyone has got the fundamental rights, and in case the fundamental rights are violated, then they can approach the court. Judiciary is independent. Then they for the purpose of accommodation of the diverse group, like the language, on the basis of the language, religion, first of all according to the languages in India, in the case of India, linguistic states have been created. Linguistic states are those states which are created on the basis of the languages which are spoken in a particular region, and for giving the importance of that people, of that particular category of people who are speaking a different language, the linguistic states have been created, so that they can the government which is elected by their people can look after the interest of their people. Okay, so linguistic states have been created. Then second is no discrimination is done on the basis of the religion, caste or creed, and everyone has got the rights, even the minority interests are looked after, and they so that no harm can be done to them by the majority people, no domination, and they can promote their religion also. So in this way accommodation is provided by the this democratic form of government. So, and this dignity and all that I have already told you. So students, I think so my lecture you might have I can hope so that you have benefited from my lecture. I hope that you have enjoyed it. So if you have enjoyed it, then please give your comments to me and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much, students.